In 1939, at the University of Iowa, a speech therapy experiment crossed a line that still shocks us today. It's remembered not for what it discovered, but for the harm it caused. They called it the monster study. Led by speech pathologist Wendell and graduate student Mary Tudor, the study set out to test Johnson's diagnosogenic theory, the idea that stuttering could be triggered by labeling and criticism of normal disfluencies. They chose 22 children from the Soldiers and Sailors Orphans home in Davenport, Iowa, ages 5 to 15. Most spoke normally, some had minor disfluencies, none consented by today's standards. The consequences would last a lifetime. The children were divided into 4 groups. Normally speaking children either received positive reinforcement, encouragement and praise, or were told they stuttered and given harsh, negative feedback. Children who actually stuttered were split between supportive, affirming therapy and critical, pressuring correction. The chilling question was simple. Could you make children begin to stutter by telling them they were broken? In the negative groups, the instructions were relentless. Children were told they were beginning to stutter, criticized for minor slips, made painfully self-conscious, told to stop speaking when they showed symptoms, belittled and psychologically abused under the guise of therapy. The words were sharp and unforgiving. Don't talk unless you can do it right. You're stuttering, stop it immediately. See how badly you're speaking. You must watch every word. The effects were immediate. Children who had spoken normally began to struggle. They withdrew, stopped raising their hands, and some stopped speaking almost entirely. Fear replaced confidence. Shame replaced curiosity. Signs of psychological trauma appeared quickly. For some, the damage lingered for years or life shadowed by anxiety, low self-esteem, and a sense of inadequacy. The label became a self-fulfilling prophecy. It earned the name the monster study, because the methods were plainly monstrous, deliberately harming children. To test a theory on, because even colleagues at the time recoiled, horrified by what had been done. Johnson himself stuttered. He believed stuttering didn't spring from biology alone, but from reactions to normal speech dysfunction. He hoped proving his theory would change how society treated people who stutter. The tragic irony is that in trying to help, he created new suffering and left children traumatized. The results were never published. The University of Iowa buried the study as ethical standards evolved. The work became indefensible. For more than 60 years, the story remained largely hidden, overshadowed by fear of reputational damage and growing awareness of human rights in research. In 2001, reporter Jim Dyer of the San Jose Mercury News brought the study to light. In 2003, 6 surviving subjects sued the University of Iowa. The university apologized and settled for $925,000, about $154,000 per victim. Its apology read, in part, "The university deeply regrets any harm that may have come to the individuals." What did we learn? Stuttering is complex. It is not purely learned behavior. Modern science points to genetic influences, often estimated around 60 to 80%, hereditary neurological differences, and environmental factors. Negative reinforcement harms. Psychological pressure can create speech problems or make them worse. Ethics matter. This case helped galvanize stronger protections for vulnerable populations, especially children. And the power of labeling is real. Telling someone they have a problem can create or amplify it. By today's standards and many of 1939's, this study violated core principles: no informed consent, violation of do no harm, targeting a vulnerable population with no advocates, a lopsided risk-benefit equation, and deception about the children's speech. Mary Tudor never published the study and reportedly felt guilt for the rest of her life. She died in 1997, before the story became public. Survivors described lifelong struggles with speech and confidence, a sense of betrayal by institutions meant to care for them, and trauma from both the study and the isolation of being orphans used for experimentation. The monster study stands as a stark reminder: science without ethics is dangerous. Labels can shape lives, and the most vulnerable must be protected always. When we study human behavior, we're not just measuring outcomes, we're touching people's lives. The question isn't only what can we learn, it's what must we never do to learn it.